All right, so welcome back to Into the Metaverse. Today we're going to be diving into some tokens that, of course, could be on the bargain basement, and also whether or not this is the time to buy or is this the time to wait. We're going to dive in deep. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back to Metaverse Insider. Let's look at a bunch of projects today. Of course, we understand what's happening around the market overall. Lots of red in the market, and of course, some of this is being pressured in, obviously, by Bitcoin. We're seeing this coming over from what could potentially be some pressures coming from both Fed, what we could see with stocks. There's a lot of things pushing against the grain, even though when you look at the market over the past few weeks, we've had a little bit of an uprun on both Metaverse and gaming. Now, the likelihood of this coming back, or could we see this start to correct itself, is, I would say, better than average right now. When we look at the overall sentiment, the data is definitely flowing in. So I want to take a look at a few projects. Obviously, before we get started, I want to thank our sponsors, FTX. They sponsor Metaverse Insider. They're one of our channel partners here. So make sure and click the link below if you're looking at a place to really save a lot on your trades, or if you're looking at a scenario where you need a really slick mobile app where you can get to NFTs, also, of course, get to faster trades at lower prices. FTX is the place for you. So make sure and check out our links below for more information. Let's get into a couple of the lists. One of these that I wanted to bring up is Ecomi. Now, a lot of you will probably say, wait a minute, Paul, Ecomi's really had a tough time of it here recently. And when you look at Ecomi and what they're trying to do, the OMI token opened on March 11th. It's available now. It's listed against the USDT. They've been waiting on some new tools built on Immutable X. They are talking about this bridging that is occurring. So the key here, if you look at the chart on Ecomi, obviously lots of red, and it has been for quite some time. I just want to go back to the 3-month so you guys kind of see the fall off of where this token has really suffered a lot. So if you are interested in collectibles, or you are interested in where VV is going, then you can take a look at maybe this one and put it on your short-term list. And just remember, just as always, this is not financial advice. What we're trying to do is outline to you guys what are some projects that we're looking at, both from a sentiment standpoint and also from an aspect of maybe these are potential buys if I'm looking to do dollar cost averaging, depending on whether or not I want to hold this token. Full disclosure, I do not hold OMI any longer, and it's not a token that I've planned to invest in. But it is one, and then you say, well, why is it on the list? And I always look at these kind of projects because some of these are just so cheap. So in some cases, if you're looking for short-term trades, or if you're a big VV holder, or you're a big fan of where collectibles are going, this is one of the tokens that you're going to need to keep an eye on because it does have the potential to really kind of correct itself. Now, is this a good buy right now? If you look at the 7-day right here, you can kind of see the flow of what we've seen and a little bit of a fall off right here. And in the 1-day, a little bit of stability here, if you can call that stability. So let's check out the trading view chart. You just kind of see the flow here. Obviously, the long-term picture here, you can kind of see the potentials on the highs and where it is in the market. So down here on the floor at 002. And it's really has not been there before for a very long time. So the potential here is really, it's kind of like you've gone through the process of dealing with these market highs, dealing with the metaverse pump, all of that, and the token has come back right to where it started before of all of this. So maybe you didn't get on any of those rises, any of those increases. This is the time, I think, when we start to look at metaverse tokens. These are the bargains that we're going to be looking for. Another one that I want to call attention to is Velhalla. Obviously, this is the Velo token. Warriors, Velolians, mutants, cyborgs, you've got it all. You can kind of see what they're doing. On April 11th, they've got their Metaverse land sale, which is getting ready to pop loose. Not good timing, and I kind of think about this, and I always wonder of tax season. With people, this could be a thing where we see people selling off during tax season. Last year was a big year for gains, so I know for me, it's kind of that way, so maybe it is that the case. So I think timing might be a little bit off on this, but if you look at their chart also on theirs, and this is in the 3-month, you can kind of see where this one has really pulled down. It has corrected a little bit over the last 30 days, so in essence, it's still at a lower value, but it is one of those that potentially could be a potential buy. Again, if you're looking at digital assets and you're looking at projects that have really good land components with them, this one could be one that really starts to show out. So interesting stuff for sure. Market cap right now at 3 million, supply is 100%, potential we see it around 31x on this one. They've got the land sale, as I mentioned and showed right there today. So if you're, again, looking for projects that are going in that direction, then this might be one of those that definitely could be leaning in. The other one we've had on the show before is RFOX. Now, RFOX is really at a point right now where they're starting to launch their metaverse plan, and it looks like it's getting ready to come out here on April 27th. Good timing, I think, overall. And if you look at RFOX right now, market cap at 62 million, supply is at 66%. The potential here is about 8x. I just want to show you some things on their Twitter feed because you can kind of see some of the things that they're starting to show. And also over on RFOX Vault, if you guys have not checked that one, let me show you that one here because this gets into some of their tweets, some of their graphics that they're showing right here. So you can kind of get a chance to see they're getting ready to really start to roll out on some of these programs. Now, we're going to try to get Benny back on the show to talk about the release. I would hope that they will actually be able to show some of this because I'm hoping that they're going to deliver on this. And if they do, then this could be the time to really grab up a little bit of a position. If you look at their 3-month, right there's their high at right around 10 cents. This was in early January. If you go back to their 1 year, you can kind of see their all-time high over the year of 11.25. Again, that was on Metaverse Pump. And then, of course, where they are right now. So again, back pre-Metaverse, all of the markets as if November of last year did not happen. And we've seen all these gains disappear. For anybody that's been holding these, this is one of those options where it might be another project to get in on now at the floor and then look for these as they start to go up. Now, the key here on all of these projects is, remember, caution, caution, caution. These are projects that are really at the basement right now. These could go completely off the radar. We could see a complete recorrection in the market. So I want you to just pay very close attention to them. But what you should be doing, like me and my strategy, is to get them ready on my list. Maybe I've got a buy-in price that I've already predestined for where that market is for me. Or maybe I'm looking for certain triggers. Like if you look at RFOX and their situation right there around the one being so far down on the floor, and the fact that they've got a lot of their movement happening around the Metaverse launch on the 27th. So good stuff there. Now, Render Token is the other one that I like. Now, this one is more of a long-term play for me anyway. Let me go to the 1 year on Render. And you can kind of see, obviously, it had the same pump in November that pretty much every major Metaverse token had during that period of time. We've seen a lot of correction here. And this is really at a point where Render, we have not seen it before. And if you look at Render, 532 million on their market cap, supply is 45%. The short term, the potential here is around 40%. So there's a potential gain here for Render. If you're looking at this long term, definitely one of those tokens that I continue to hold. I missed some of my opportunity to take money off the table. You should not do that. So once you see this project pump again, this is one of those that I would definitely jump into. So you can kind of get a chance to see how those move. And I do like this project long term because I just feel like the utility case of what Render is trying to do is definitely one that is going to be part of where we're going to see the metaverse go. All right, let's go to Flow and take a look quickly on Flow, trading at 556 right now, market cap at 1.9 billion. Supply's not good. Potential though is about a 44% short-term gain. And if you look at their 30-day, or their 3-month, they're not necessarily at their lowest that they've had, which was right around $4.39. But I look at their 1 year and I see this as a potential because this was up around 25 bucks. And this could show a little bit of signs of improvement. And then if you look at their all-time, you can kind of see this is about as bad as it's been for Flow. So is this an opportunity to grab some of these projects? Flow, again, one of those projects that I feel is a very unique aspect of where NFTs are going to be utilized and how they're going to be utilized within the whole metaverse space. Again, Flow kind of moving into one of those lists, for me at least, of ones to watch if I'm looking for bargain deals during this downturn on metaverse tokens. All right, so I want to thank our sponsor today, FanFury, which is interesting. This is one of those projects that's getting into the whole idea of fantasy league sports. And I think as we start to see fantasy league sports move their way into blockchain, this may be one of those projects that you guys want to take a look at. They're our sponsor today. Make sure and click the link below if you want to learn a little bit more about it. Jump into their Discord, learn a little bit more about the project. If you're a big sports fanatic or you're big into fantasy leagues, this may be the thing for you. So take a look at that. Additionally, I want to jump to a couple other tokens here because there's several more here that could be, and some of these are on our list in our overall projects that we look at a lot in the gaming sector, and then also many of these in our new Metaverse Index, which, by the way, if you check out the CPI, at the end of today, on Monday, the 11th, you're going to have a new button on your CPI, and the new button is going to be the Metaverse and Gaming Index. We have 7 new tokens in there, so we have 15 in the traditional crypto tracker, where you're going to get 12 data points in it. You're going to have 7 in the Metaverse and Gaming, and we're trying to get up to 15 very quickly. Eventually, we'll have 30 in both of those indexes, where we're watching those on an ongoing basis, and you'll still see, our regular top 30s and all that good stuff. So make sure and check that out. But My Neighbor Alice is the one that has been in my list for quite a long time. They've made it in and out of our top gaming, top 20. They've been in our top 10 a couple of times. And if you look at their 3-month right here, you can kind of see a little bit of life right here we had, and then the fall off right here, of course. You look at their 1 year, again, one of these tokens that is just down there at the basement. And if you look at what they are doing as a studio, they're one of those traditional gaming studios that is making the bridge over to crypto, and I think, and blockchain. And I think what they will continue to do is just build great product, and I think we're going to see some cool stuff coming out from My Neighbor Alice. So you can kind of see some things right here with their roadmap. Obviously, it's been updated. Seasonal release model launching in Q2, which is right now. This is going to introduce and outline several alpha seasons, which I think will, of course, be one of the key things with any of these games. The main thing that you want to look at with a lot of these is the kind of releases that they've got flowing, because that usually generates interest in the project. It usually obviously drives price action. And again, if you're buying this token in these basement prices, this may be one of those that could show some short-term games for you. Also, market cap 188 million, supply is around 31%. And also this, we are looking at around a 36% short-term gain on this one. So another one to keep on your list. Again, as a reminder, these are not go out and buy these today. Maybe they are if you're interested in developing a portfolio that, hey, listen, I want to do some long-term looks at these. Maybe some of these are long-term for you, something like an Alice, something like a Render, which are both in my long-term bags, Alice in my gaming bag, Render in my Metaverse bag. And the other one that's in my bag for long-term is Gala. And Gala, I think, may be the best buy of the bunch right now. Let's look at their 3-month. You can kind of see a little bit of life back here in February. It went up, shot up to 36 cents, 37 cents. If you look at their 1 year, you can kind of see their all-time back again in November. That was really when the big punch came for Gala. But I don't know with everything that's happening with Gala that we will see this one this low. And even if it does get back to its basement, which I feel is around 9 cents, right now it's holding at 19 cents. But even if it gets back here, the likelihood of this one, just because of all the releases, Gala Music, and the number of games they've got releasing into the marketplace, I think this one is more of a long-term hold. So I do like Gala, and it's one of those that could do some crazy stuff if we start to see a real market move in the right direction. And what I mean by that is some of these, can you imagine if you'd have bought right before that move in November? You would have easily gone right there from 9 cents up to 66 cents. That's almost an 8x. So these are the kind of things that we're looking for when we're trying to isolate these really good positions, especially in Metaverse and Gaming. All right, let's take a look lastly at Axie Infinity. Just obviously we saw Origin's release, and it looked pretty good. A lot of so far the feedback we've seen and heard from some of the players is not bad. But Axie has been taking a tumble. Again, a lot of this is coming from many of the things that we're seeing in the market right now. You've seen kind of no signs of buyers. And this is something that I'm always cognizant of, is when everybody else is hands-off, that's usually the time to be hands-on. And what I mean by that is when the market is at its worst, when things are just not going well for a project, but yet they have the capability of pulling out, in other words, this is not going to zero, then it's just a matter of time and probably just a matter of market moves for all of this to correct. Now, many of this is being influenced by many other factors. We'll see our inflation rates come here in the US this week. Likelihood is we're going to see some pretty staggering numbers. That could do two things. It could put a little bit of a push on the traditional asset market, and it also could put a push on traditional investors trying to find safe havens, which could push into Bitcoin. If Bitcoin gets pushed, obviously we'll see the trickle-down effect into alts and Metaverse. So make sure and take a look at these. With Axie Infinity, daily average users right now at 298,000. Their PvP matches over 1 million, like 1.1 million. Peak concurrent players at 28K. That's a little bit low. Free-to-play players, this one surprised me at 35,300 players on the free-to-play players, which I think is really kind of one of the big components with Axie Infinity and Origin and how it might roll out. So anyway, that's our lineup for today in terms of tokens that could be on your watch list. So if you're into Metaverse and if you're looking at some of these big gains and you're also looking maybe on short-term plays, this should be on your notepad, ready to watch. And then I would put either Google Alerts out there, start watching the tokens on a daily basis, and keep in line with what we're doing here in reporting on the sentiment data and our amplification data on these projects. Because the minute that I start to see amplification moving up on these, it indicates movement. That's usually when I'm going in. So I'm watching all of these very closely. Gala, Axie, Render, all those are great. I think RFOX may end up, depending on how they prove out for the 27th, could be a big one. Velhalla, I think, would be interesting of where it's going. Ecomi is just a crazy low right now. So if you believe in that in terms of investments into collectibles and how VV's strategy is going forward, maybe all these make sense to you. I'd love to get your feedback, though. Maybe some tokens that you're watching we should take a look at. Make sure and drop them in the comments below. We'd love to hear your feedback. Also, if you want to reach me, it's out on Twitter, just @PaulBaron. We'll catch you next time right here on Metaverse Insider.